Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's nice to see faces, and it's also so great to see people like on the floor and getting into their bodies. It's really, really sweet moment for us to collectively arrive.
Yeah. So, good morning. Yeah, as Brando said, please take your time to get into your bodies however you need to in your time zone, and we'll start shortly.
We're just gonna take another minute or so. So feel free to like do your thing before you come back to the screen. Cool. So how about if everybody comes comes close virtually. I'll say a couple words to introduce the evening, and then I'll hand it over to Martin. Yeah, great. Thank you so much. It's so nice to see everybody's faces and to see y'all sort of curious and looking into these little boxes to see who's here. Thank you all for coming. My name is Brando. I'm sort of hosting the evening and hosting Martin Hughes tonight. I'm also doing that with a lot of help from Earthdance. Franny is helping host. She's somewhere on your screen. And Lindsay Swan is also helping to support this event in so many different ways. And so are all of you. So thanks again for making it. This space serves as a hub, as a place for all of us to get together and to share a somatic practice and to be in our bodies together in the best way we can right now. And it's just wonderful to see how the ingenuity and the levels of connection continue to grow as we continue to forge our way in this unknown and new space and new virtual reality that will continue. And there are so many cool things that are happening because of it. And one of them is the fact that all of us can get together and see each other and be with each other from around the world. And the world representation is just amazing. Tonight teaching, we have Martin Hughes, who's teaching actually on a Monday morning as he's in Australia, around the globe, like across the world from us. And it's just amazing because, I don't know, Martin, I don't know when we met. We met at CI 36, I think. So, I mean, that was like almost 15 years ago. And it was such a treat to know you then and to hear about your life and your history with Earthdance, and then to like kind of get to share this experience with you through Earthdance again. So I just feel honored to have a pioneer of the form, someone who really brought it to Australia really, and to Melbourne especially, and has continued to carry the torch across the world here with us tonight. And Earthdance is continuing to try to stay relevant in this time. I mean, it's difficult as an organization that is promoting a form that right now is considered one of the most dangerous practices on the globe. It's not easy. So your support, if you have it, if you have the means, and you can donate to Earthdance to help keep us afloat during this time, it's incredibly helpful. If you can't, if you're in an economic struggle right now, we want this space to be open and we want this space to be free for you. And if you have those means, we're asking for your help. So in the chat, we will be posting a link to a way that you can donate and help support Earthdance during this time. So I think Franny, if you could post that right now, that would be awesome. And we'll continue posting it throughout the evening. It's at your discretion. Also, another way to support us is that we're doing a lot of innovative programming. Please refer to earthdance.net, but we have some online workshops that are happening in May and June, like a viewpoints workshop, a Butoh workshop. We're also excited to be producing a queer lab and jam hosted by Kristen Horgan and Paul Singh, two amazing teachers. And we are just excited to continue offering relevant programming in this moment in time. What else? Just logistics for now is like, if you could keep your video on, even if you don't want to be video, just turn your screen like around and not be on it. But we love having the videos on because it makes us feel like you're in the room with us still and you're still present. If you could put your full name, that helps us too. And the class will start momentarily and it will go to about 8 o'clock. It might go over a little bit. And then after that, we'll have a time to hear from people and to reflect on the class, to ask Martin questions, and to also just be in a space where we're sharing with each other. So with no further ado, I really want to turn over this exciting Martin has actually been coming to Earth Dance Live almost every week, and it's been amazing to see him. And I love that he's taking a wonderful compilation of inspiration from past teachers and the ingenuity that, like I said, keeps on growing. And I'm really excited to be part of this moment where Martin gets to share like from his lens, a way to make this virtual experience a connective experience. So thank you so much, Martin. I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thank you so much, Brando. Thank you so much, everyone, for making the time to come here in your evening, in your morning, in your day. It's a feast, isn't it? All of these lovely faces and so many people I just want to say hi to. But we'll start soon. In Australia, we have this convention where we acknowledge, we do an acknowledgement of country. It's self-explanatory. Can I just check though, it's protocol, I need to check if there is someone, a First Nations person here in the meeting. If you could raise your hand. If you're wanting to do a welcome to country, then that would be great if you would. No? Great, okay. So I acknowledge that I am dancing today on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and I pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. I also recognise that I'm dancing on land that has been danced on for millennia before us, and I am so grateful that I can have my dancing time on this land as well. I also acknowledge and pay my respects to any other First Nations people who are in the meeting, and I want to acknowledge the traditional lands of all of the places where you are dancing as well. Just with that kind of idea in mind, I just want to do a show of hands thing. Could you put up your hand if you're in the United States right now? And, you know, leave your hand up if you want to scroll around and see how many hands are up. That's fun, right? Could you put your hand up if it is Monday for you? Great. Could you put your hand up if it's spring for you? Nice. It's not for me. Yeah, Philip, you're not sure? Last one. Please, hands up those who've been to Earth Dance, who've actually visited the venue. Oh, look at that. Nice. Thank you. If you haven't been to Earthdance, thank you so much for coming. Those of us who have been to Earthdance before, we know why we're here. We wish we were in the studio on those beautiful floors, you know, thinking of the kitchen and the gorgeous food and the quarry and the sauna and the rest. I'm really happy to help in any way I can, and, you know, to support the idea that Earthdance will continue above and beyond and well into the next century. It's certainly my intention to get there for real again sometime soon. Great. Thank you, everybody. I'm really grateful to be here. Please, there are two things you need to know about my teaching. One is I always begin, well, if you've ever seen me teach, you know I teach with notes. It's crazy, but I just can't without them. So they'll shuffle around every now and again, and I'll lose them, and I'll lose my glasses, and it'll be fun to watch. And then I always invite you to dance with the body you've got. I learned this from the wonderful Nina Martin, and I love it as an idea. I love it as a basis for the practice that I've really tuned to all of these years. Is unlike other dancing where I'm somehow meant to dance like the teacher or someone else in the room in contact, and this improvisational practice, that's it's about me and my body and the choices that I'm making, what I need to do to adapt. So please adapt or interpret whatever instructions you're getting from me to suit your body and your space. That goes doubly for my accent. I used to be so much better at international English, and I used to speak a lot slower, but I've lived at home for too long, and I will go very, very quickly, and my accent will get thicker as I get more excited. So if you miss something, just think of it as a bad internet connection. There's a really good chance that I'll just repeat myself anyway, or it would be completely unessential, unimportant. That is more likely. So I'm reading from my notes. We're going to start with something that some of you know. That's great. If you don't know, don't worry. I will be leading you through it. If you do know, it's the small dance, the stand. If you do know the stand, hold it gently. I'm gonna lead you off from there. It's just my starting place, and I'll take you on from there. So, standing if you can, sitting if you want. That's up to you. So it's not just standing, and the idea of this, of the stand or the small dance is you just stand. It's really the only instruction, physical instruction. The rest is about observing everything that's going on with this standing. Because standing is anything but still. It's an incredibly active process. You're constantly balancing, adjusting, twitching, swaying, wobbling. It's a lovely kind of authentic movement. Do what you need to be comfortable standing. I'm going to try and be quiet while I do this. Just pay attention to what's going on in your own body, just for a minute or so. Continue what you're doing and just think about the very top of your spine, where it meets your skull. And then make the smallest possible yes motion with your head. Just tiny nod. And then an equally tiny no. Just side to side with your skull. And what you've done there is you've articulated the top two bones of your spine, the atlas and the axis, and there are 7 bones in the top of your spine, in your neck. And so how about I invite you to just explore the possible movement of those 7 bones. The tilting, the rotation, the forward, the backward, side. Just articulating from the collarbone up. And then allow your awareness to follow down your spine into the chest area of your spine, the thoracic area. There are 12 bones there. And they allow a huge range of movement. Fold forward, sideways. And then allow that activation to work down into your lumbar spine. The 5 bones of the lumbar. The lower back. So now you've got that chain of bones in your body to articulate the torso, the head, warming up the joints throughout. Finally, adding in the sacrum, last fused bones of the spine. So you've got access to all 33 bones of the spine. And of course, as you do that, it's going to become hard to not include the rest of the body. The limbs, particularly the legs instantly, and then the arms. And just allow that, the spine to lead and radiate out through the body, the movement of the spine to radiate out through the body, out through the limbs, and folding, rising, taking you to the floor. I'm going to leave you doing this for a little while with one more instruction, which is please don't try and be or think you have to be creative. Have a peek at the screen, and if you see something nice, something that's interesting, try it on for size. And then come back into your own movement and add it in, extend on it. And then add into that, reaching out into the space around you. Continue moving, and then using the spine to initiate movement through your limbs into the whole space around you, going exploring around the space into the surfaces and objects that occupy your space with you. Feeling out the textures of the space around you. And just drawing your movement to a close. Coming back to the screen. Hello. Can I just check in how you're going? Good thumbs up, bad thumbs down. Good, we're okay, we're getting warm. Is the balance okay? Can you hear my voice? Yes, good, excellent, great, great. Terrific. I'm interested today in textures, particularly exploring. There's a beautiful thing that Chris Aiken says in the very first of these Earthdance live classes about being a haptic junkie. I love that phrase. It's my favourite phrase now. I'm part of that gang, that band, the haptic. We need a scarf or a bandana or something, and we're all in kind of haptic. What is the word that I'm looking for? Anyway, we don't have much of it, and none of it, very, very little of it is human. But I'm really keen to keep my practice going in that way and keep my responsiveness going around how it responds to those physical inputs around me. So we're going to take another moment or two to just work solo again with the surfaces and objects in our room, in our space that we're sharing with. If you've turned on the virtual backgrounds, they're lovely, but it's going to get tricky later on when we want to play together with your space and your objects. So that's still your choice, but love the idea of, getting tactile with the objects in your room. So there are 4 ideas that I want to, there's a huge list of things that I was playing with, but I love the idea of the tangible lexicon, the tangible spectrum of things we could play with. And the first one, straight off the bat, any object that I come into contact with, I'm instantly sensing what weight possibilities does it have for me? What weight does it have? And how much of my weight can it take? There then comes mobility. Will it move if I push it or pick it up? Can I take it somewhere else? What's its mobility like? When I start playing with that, then I got to ask myself, how robust is it? Is it a delicate, flimsy thing? That doesn't mean I have to stop moving with it. It just means that I need to think about that. I just need to take that in and be responsive to that. And then I love this last one. How much surface area do I have? How much space, how much of me can I put on it? Is it broad and wide, or is it quite narrow and fine? And I want to be sure that we're exploring these things. Hands are amazing, so intelligent, so much feedback, but let's also think about the rest of our bodies. So there's 4 things: weight, mobility, robustness, and surface area, and then with our whole bodies. And I just reprise that idea. I love that idea. I'm not asking you to be creative. I'm not asking you to be choreographic. I'm just asking you to explore. And part of that exploration is the resource in front of your eyes. All of these other people are exploring, and by all means, I think it's fine if you don't worry about plagiarism. No one's going to catch you out. It's okay. Do whatever you need. All right. Are we good with that? Clear? Everybody gets the instructions? We won't spend long with this because there's a funner thing coming. So just play with the spaces around, the objects, the weight. I'll shut up. Off you go. I'm going to find some music. I'd like you to flip the point of reference around while you're moving. So continue to move, but rather than thinking about it like we often think about this exercise, most of us would have done something like this before, rather than thinking about what can I do with this object or this surface, think about what it's doing with you. How are you changed by it? How are you changed by its weight possibilities, by its fragility or its robustness, by the amount of surface area? How is it leading your movement? So I like to think that this idea of a little bit like a bull in a china shop, but it's a mindful bull. in a china shop. You're thinking about how you're moving around these things. How is it changing you? Take your time. Pause when you need to. I do encourage you to try and get under things as well as on them. Cover yourself with them. All righty. And then let's just draw that to a close for a minute. What I want to do now is actually continue that practice. It feels like that's a very condensed version of what I'd like to play with, but I'm conscious of the time, and it's nice to leave you with a wanting more than less. I would like to pair you up now. I thought I could have some nice music kind of in the background, but that's just going to drive me crazy. All right, so there's 30 of us. Great. We'll pair up through the screen, and then I'll explain what we do next. Sean, can you have video on? That could be interesting. All right, so I'm going to borrow the wonderful Leah, who taught last week. Where is she? She did this great thing, just simple. If everybody puts their hand up, and then I'll get the list of participants up. And I'm just going to go through the list. So, Brando, are you dancing? Oh, where's Brando? Franny, you're first on my list. So I'm going to put you with Amara. Could you find each other on your screen, Amara and Franny? And then when your hands are down, when you've got them, put your hands down. Great. Catherine McGill. My apologies. I will mispronounce this. Sigdam. Sigdam. Did we get it? Ah, I found you. Hello. So great. Dee with Erin. Fiona with Jackie. Ah, Catherine, who I know as Catherine Birdsall. Like it always just comes out as one thing for me. Catherine Birdsall, Catherine Birdsall. Hi. Catherine with Leah. Great. Lindsay with Lisa. Luke. Oh, Luke with Luke. That's too good. I like it. Maya with Marcello. Maya with Nish. Nish, Maya, yes. Maya with a Y, not with a J. Maya with a Y, not with a J. There's another Maya coming. Nicole with Noah. Hooray. Philip with Rec. Sean with Sue. Tanya, Yuri, and Yoga for Two, who I know as Katrina, with me. Hooray. Who's still got their hand up? Who wants a partner? Who's left? Oh, Maya with a J. Maya with a J. Oh, Maya with a J. Great. Could you dance with Yoga for Two, which is
Brando doesn't have someone.
Oh,
It's
Brenda.
okay. It's okay. I'm gonna watch and sort of help hold.
Thank you, Brenda. This is the tango. If you want to do that for me, that would be really nice. Actually, oh no, I've got a really nice one. I'll do mine if that's okay. Sorry. Okay, so what you're going to do exactly what you did. You're going to play with that idea of the weight, the robustness, the mobility, the surface area of the surfaces and objects in your space. And you're going to choose an A and a B. A will do that. A will do that exercise we just did. Simple, simple, simple. And B
Martin, who is Marcelo's partner?
Marcello. Marcello.
Does anybody know?
Nicole is waving.
Who?
Oh, it's not her.
Marcello. So Marcello, sorry, my apologies. I did that too quickly. Maya, have you got Maya with a J? Have you got a partner?
You put me with Yoga for Two.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh,
Actually, first you mentioned some Maya with Marcello, I thought, and then
that's what I thought. That's what I thought. I think. Okay. Anybody else without a partner? Put your hand up.
Well, I just can't find Leah.
I can't find Leah.
She's on the screen. She's waving right now.
It's Leah.
Hi. And Yoga for Two, Katrina. Who are you dancing with?
I don't know.
So
I think you're with Maya with a J.
Oh, okay.
Maya with a J. Marcello, can you dance with me? Yay. Hooray. All right. So a person does what we did, right? You get a little more time to explore all of those lovely tangibles that we were exploring. And then the other person, oh, Fiona. Why did I miss you? Hi. Anybody else doesn't have a partner? Fiona, did I put you with anyone? Yeah. Okay.
And we pin our partner?
Yes, please pin them. Thank you, Nish. Yes, thank you. Pin them. So they're taking up your full screen, right? And you get to dance with them and they do it. So if you're A, you do it. If you're B, you just watch for a little bit. And then you can start to physically respond. So you're going to watch actively, all right? And then we'll swap over. And I'll just tell you when to do that. Right?
Who is A and who's B?
Who is A and who is B? So decide who is A. Well, you decide who is A, right? You somehow work out who is going first, who is going second, right?
Martin, do you want to do the music for this, or did you want me to do the music for this?
I'll do the music. It's good.
Good.
Thanks. All right. Are we as clear as mud? Was that the worst bit of organization in the world? Yeah. Okay. Excellent.
Go.
As long as we can all be in the human place together, then we know where we're starting. Great. Everybody up and running? Oh, I'm dancing with Marcello. Great. Great. So, decide who is first. Marcello, because I can talk, I'm telling you to be first.
I think I've lost my partner.
Who is that?
Tanya, Yuri, where's Yuri?
Her name is Meta.
Meta.
That's who I had pinned and then the name changed.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was my. But does anybody know pin a video on iPad? It's my first time.
Yeah, you just double click the My Screen.
Thanks.
Thanks, Brando. Okay. Are we ready? Are we set? All right. Got your partner. And then don't change anything you're doing, but change jobs. So if you were the A person, now you're B. If you were B, now you're A. Take a minute to watch your partner. And joining in physically, responding, watching physically, sensing out the tangibles. Perhaps you're imagining you are the object or the surface they're playing with. Or you're sharing that object or surface. All right. Terrific. Drawing that excruciatingly small amount of dancing together to a close. Great. Oh, there's some smiling faces there. That's lovely. Excellent. Yeah, time for a drink. Great. I want to try one more thing and then we'll do a little warm down together. But ridiculous how quickly that hour has gone. If we all unpin our partners and have the beautiful quilt of these faces and frames and spaces, and then play some more in that world together, in that world on your own, but together. So like you were, in my frame, I see Philip right below me. I might start playing with his movement. And then Catherine's to the right of him and Brando's above Catherine. I might take a little 6-box bunch to play with. And then I might see if I can expand that out and add Lindsay and Rec, who happen to be to the right of that, and maybe Amara and Sue. And I'll just see how many boxes I can take into my view and work with while I'm doing this. So Dan, is that blowing people's brains? Is that okay? We can do that? Everybody okay with that? Good instruction? We'll try. See how you go. Yeah, whatever. It'll go. All right. Yeah, everybody. Cool. Let's go. And then taking your time, continuing what you're doing, see if you can come to the same movement with everyone in the squares around you and everyone in the quilt. Some repetitive action that we can all find together over the next couple of minutes. Nice. Fantastic. Wonderful. Thank you all. Great. I am bound by my, contract as a dance teacher to finish with a warm down. So I'd like you to roll. I'd like you to twist and roll on the floor or in your chair, on the furniture. Just simply articulate your spine the way we did before, but without too much gravity involved. Okay? See how you go with that. You're just ironing out the kinks, ironing out, preparing yourself either for sleep or the rest of your day. Take your time. And when you're ready, finish that off and come back. Put something warm on if you need to and grab a drink. That theoretically is the end of the moving part of the class, and now we get to enjoy breakfast or dinner together, one or the other, or perhaps it's lunch for someone. That'd be nice. I'm going to grab my water. So, how are you all after that? If you want to say something, then by all means unmute yourself and tell us all. Talk to us. There are so many faces here I would dearly love to have a long conversation with.
It was great, great, terrific. Thank you.
Thanks, Philip.
It was really beautiful to have a space and time held to explore, because sometimes it's difficult to hold that space for yourself. So yeah, I really appreciate the inputs. It made me look at my garage in a very beautiful way.
I really appreciated the reminder not just to explore objects with our hands, to explore with other parts of our body. And I found myself exploring sort of hooks. And I had an experience with my coat rack, which of course is made of hooks. And then also the hooks of my body with it. And that was really, it was enjoyable in a way that I feel like I dance that way with other people as well as with, apparently with objects. Thank you.
Thank you.
I really appreciated the invitation. I think that came really initially from Brando, and then you continued, Martin, about the permission to look at the screen. Because I've taken a few dance classes, and this idea of looking has been not discussed openly. And I've been unsure how to look at the screen, but also how to be seen when I'm dancing in my living room. And so it was just such a delight to actually be, working with my partner and their friends. We seem to be in this amazing studio. I don't know where they are, but and also just really, really looking and seeing and then joining in with everybody. It was so fantastic to feel connected. Body to body. I just haven't felt that in the dance classes I've been taking on time. Thank you.
Thanks, Amara.
I was amazed at, just to follow up on Amara's comment, how much gravity there was in this screen, especially when I was dancing with my partner and then all of you. I was so drawn in, even when I was far away. So thank you for being present and holding the space.
I love, Tanya, I just love thinking about that concept of like the gravity of the screen. You know, like in CI, gravity is such a, it's such a omnipresent concept and value that we're playing with and manipulating. And it's the first time I've come into that sort of horizontal gravity, or that concept of the virtual gravity. It's really fascinating. It's something I'm going to chew on for a little while.
Yeah, I really this this concept of the gravity with what I was going to say, that my living room feels lighter and fresher and newer now. Like I went somewhere and I came home and I can appreciate it more. And I'm starting to now, as everyone's talking, get this notion of how when we say gravity, I think of weight and heaviness, but of course our lightness is so involved too. So.
No.
So I love that you all have this weightedness in this tiny little iPad, and all my stuff is all of a sudden light. It's turned it upside down.
Fantastic.
It was just really wonderful dancing with people from all over the world. The intimacy of it is just really magical. And Martin, as well, when you said we were moving with textures, and you said you know, kind of move away from what you do with the object, but work with what it does to you and how it changes you. That then something clicked with me, and that just changed my whole dance. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was really aware. Can you hear me? I was really aware when I was dancing, watching my partner, this sense of like a haptic empathy or resonance in watching her. Like, of course, I don't know if it's true or if it's real, but that's still what was happening in my body, like really feeling what I imagined to be the coldness of the floor, and then the sharp of the chair, and the feeling that in the body, and then alternating between feeling that happen to me and those textures being in me, in my body. That was really rich to explore.
Noah, and this goes for everybody. I forgot to say this. If you could say where you're from, it's just really fascinating. I'm noticing the scene outside your home right now, and I'm just curious where you're broadcasting from.
Where I'm from or where I am?
Where you are, yeah.
Oh, I'm in Gooningary, which is the east coast of Australia. And just before, there were a couple of little wallabies, which are like little kangaroos that were there when we were dancing as well.
I'm Sean. I'm in East Hampton, Massachusetts, not too far from Earthdance. And at first I was embarrassed because I thought my space was really cluttered. And my whole perspective on it changed, because then it became this just delightful playground. And I never thought that I would play with an easel in 3 dimensions like that. It was really fun.
Hi, this is Meta from Florence, Massachusetts. I really resonate, first of all, with a lot of things people are sharing, and something that was sort of personal that came up for me, which I really appreciated, is during the small dance, after about 30 seconds or a minute in, just like dropping through the layers. It's such a familiar place. And then I realized that I'm sort of like half a mile or less as the eagle flies to Nancy Stark Smith's house. And I was just like gazing on it. And then so the whole time I just felt like she was really in me, and that was geared towards her. So I really appreciated how that came up in the invitation. The other thing I'm appreciating this, like, I love going to Earth Dance and then all of a sudden running into somebody that I've met from around the world. And I love that this is happening also on Earth Dance Live, as I come here regularly. And I just wanted to shout to Noah Rotem that we met in Israel, where we're both living. Noah. So we met at Gaga. So I just love that Earth Dance has this still online. We can do it.
I'm Nej. I'm from Boston. I'm really enjoyed dancing in this little room that's been my quarantine playroom, and how fond I am now of all the objects, from sliding around on them and bouncing off them and climbing out the window. And but I wanted to mention a moment when we were instructed to try and dance sort of gesturally with the people around the checkerboard, and how weird it is. to try and connect, and when maybe the speaker is referencing something that isn't true for what I can see, and then, you know, just extrapolating. It's just such a great example of how we assume that blue is blue for everyone, or when I say green, you think green, you know, like that everyone has their own experience and perspective. And this was just really stark, like, wait, no, Martin, this isn't to the left of me. This, you know, like it just was so impossible for me to understand like that reference when it was jumbled up. So it was a moment where it's just like, wow, we're all experiencing so many different things at once and we still can connect. Isn't that incredible? All right, signing out.
Hi, I'm going to finish my bite. I'm Dee Dee and I'm in New York City. And I'm at Grace Space, which is an exhibition space for performance art. And they're not using the space, so she said, go ahead and use the space. So I filled it with all my things. I'm slowly bringing my apartment here, which is a problem. But anyway, I really enjoyed dancing with the objects, and using the same objects Erin was using was really, really cool, because you know, you can feel like you can see how she's pulling or not, or letting it lie. It really helps translate that movement. Very effective. So that was great.
Wonderful.
In the East Village, Lower East Side.
Hi. Can you hear me well? Because my internet connection is not that stable. Is this okay at this moment?
We can hear you, Marcelo. Continue.
Okay. So thanks, Martin, and thank you, everyone. I want to say just a few things. Number one, that I had to deal a lot with frustration because of my very, very and extremely unexpected, unstable internet connection. So it was something that it's good for me to work with, frustration when things don't work the way I want, especially because of my character. I'm an engineer myself. So when things are not coming as planned, this is terrible for me. That's why I love the improvisation world. It's so good for my soul and my body. This is number one. Number two, Martin, when you started the class and you said, and you asked, who is in evening, and then you said, who is on a Monday? I'm actually the cross section of both. I mean, I'm not on a Monday, but I'm in winter because I'm in the South, but I'm on a Sunday. So I felt, you know, that I was part of the, you know, the cross section of both worlds.
I was hoping we would find those over the crossover of the Venn diagram.
Yeah, and the third part I felt with Noah, and I assume she's from Israel, and I'm an engineer graduated in Israel. So, you know, I feel so connected to Earthdance, to Australia, to, you know, to all of you. So being with you now, especially at this moment, is helping out with my frustration during class. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marcelo.
I just wanted to say thanks for class, Martin, and I really appreciate, especially the small dance, just some cues. It's nice to have some cues sometimes when you're doing something that you're familiar with anyhow. And I appreciated that. And then I resonated a bit with what Marcelo, what you were just saying. I didn't exactly get frustrated, but I was taken out a lot because my daughter was having a very hard time because she couldn't draw the hopscotch in chalk outside how she wanted to. I mean, just heartbreaking, like tears and everything. So it's really interesting to try and experience a class while still at home, and you know, so it's a practice. I mean, it's all improvisation, right? But anyhow, I appreciate your class, and I'll see you if I can fly to Australia again. My mom lives in Australia, if anybody doesn't know this. So I go there every other year. So I dance with Martin almost every other year.
Yeah, fantastic. Please come. Yeah. Thank you for your class last week.
Yeah. So
I was totally riffing off your class last week.
You were, I was like, oh, cool. Okay, I'll get to try and practice or see what a little bit of my class might have been like, just a little bit. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Anyhow, thank you.
Where are you, Leah?
Oh, yeah. Right now, I live in Salt Lake. I've been here for a while, but I was in New York for 13 years before that. So, yeah.
I'm in Virginia right now, everybody. Charlottesville.
Maya. I'm from Northeast Australia. Well, not from. I'm from Copenhagen, but I live here now. I don't have many words. Like, I'm always kind of a little bit quiet, but I'm really enjoying this this community, this feel of this many people joining up together here on Zoom. One of my favorite things about long retreats is always when you meet up in the kitchen with a bunch of people at the beginning of the retreat that you don't know. I do know a few faces here, but there are more faces, more people I haven't seen before. And then slowly hearing everybody's stories and watching them move, and it's just really, really beautiful. I've missed it very much. I always wanted to come and visit Earthdance. I just never had the opportunity. So this is my first Earthdance event. So yeah, very nice to be here. Thanks very much for the class, Martin. It was really lovely. I think my movement practice, teaching movement, in some ways have become a little bit mechanical, and it was just such a lovely way of tuning in with a bunch of movers and creating that, starting with that awareness about just breath and standing, weight, lightness, spine. Yeah, so really appreciated that. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, I want to take a moment to appreciate all the representation from Australia this evening. And Martin, thank you so much for bringing your posse. And I hope to extend the invitation for y'all to keep coming. Each week there's something new and innovative happening here, and there's a sweet community that continues to form. So it would be lovely to have this kind of contingency from Australia continue representing and continuing to get to know us all and joining our community. So thank you all for coming, and thanks, Martin, so much for bringing everyone. I'm also curious, Martin, like we don't have much time, but you know, you've been coming, and this is partly a research lab, and I'm curious, like, if you want to share with us like what you learned from this experiment for yourself.
I got a swag of classes, Brando. There's so much I could have taught. I had to just keep paring it back. Once you start digging in and you start playing, and that's even before you start getting into, you know, playing with the medium itself. But all of this lovely stuff around that tangible, trying to pare down to a lexicon, a series of spectrums or scales of tangibles that we could work with, and we could try and explore across the intangible, was so interesting. just a shout out to Fiona Cook, who in my screen is down and to the right. But of course, that's so great. I love that is meaningless to everyone else. Anyway, that's my wife. And she has helped me enormously in this task. And together we've got, wow, there's weekend workshops afoot, you know, swags of stuff to do. Yeah. There's a beautiful thing actually yesterday in the sunshine. It's spring, it's fall here and getting quite chilly for us, but it's very sunny, and there's a whole thing around dancing in the sunshine that I've never done before. The light and warmth as the point of contact. Wow, well, that's great. Yeah, so I could go on. I do have quite a few pages of extra stuff that we could have jammed in or do again. Yeah. I want to make sure everybody is just reminded one more time to make a donation. I love that idea of, you know, Meta and others talking about meeting people here at Earth Dance. And for me, yeah, the food, the floors, the sauna, the place is exquisite, and I hanker for it. I try not to think about it, actually. I put it aside. But what's so beautiful for me about this experience is it provides one of the most important things for me about that Earth Dance experience was, you know, so beautifully articulated a moment ago, where it's the meetings with all of the people and the friendships that you create so quickly, and then those, you know, they go on for years and decades. You know, there are so many faces that I've seen here: Sue and Neige and Catherine and others, Meta, and you know, that I've known from that time when I was traveling, and Earth Dance was the locus of, you know, of my traveling, kind of my home base, and or it's certainly in my heart. And so this is definitely an excellent analogue for that. So if you can, do donate some money just to be sure that Earth Dance is there and still doing what it's doing when you get a chance to go there again.
Thank you so much, Martin, for that pitch. And it is a pitch. We are pitching ourselves out and putting ourselves out into the world, both as a support to all of you and also as hopes to bring in your support to this wonderful organization that provides so much for so many of us. Thank you so much, Martin. Oh my gosh, what a treat! What a treat to have you with us tonight, and to have this global connection felt among all of us this evening. I think that it feels like a wonderful way to close. I will continue holding the meeting for a few minutes, as we have this tradition to sort of like end silently, but let yourself have a chat and maybe say goodbye on the chat to people, or say what you would like to as you exit the virtual space. So we'll leave the virtual space open for a few more minutes for you all to say goodbye and to give whatever insight or praise you'd like to. Again, we will be here every Sunday for as long as we need to, and we hope to see you again next week. And thank you so much, everybody.